Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to AriesEDC. I got a really cool one to share with you guys today. This is the CJRB Sasaya. That's right. A really cool blade. I think you can see why I decided to check this one out. So this is another budget offering from CJRB. So let's take a look at what we have. We have a nice G10, which has been contoured and rounded on the handles with the steel bolster area where you have your lock bar. It is a traditional button lock, not lock bar, but is a traditional button lock, steel liners, and deep carry clip with the recessed screws, but not the recessed clip itself. It is reversible, so you can move it to the other side. And I say deep carry, but you're still going to have where the lanyard hole is sticking out of this blade. It's a very unique styled handle and unique styled blade, as you saw. So it's a really cool offering from CJRB at a really great price. Just right off the bat, the price on this one listed on their website as I'm filming this right now is $56. So $56, AR RPM 9 with the G10, and it's a very Schillen cutter with a button lock, which is pretty cool. Regularly, they're about $75, but on sale as I'm filming this, and I'll try to get this video out as quickly as possible, is $56. So that's not a bad deal for what they're doing. CJRB, again, killing it with some of their budget offerings that they have available. One thing I noticed on this knife before I flipped the knife, well, come on. All right, there you go. So you have the nice Schillen cutter blade, nice stone wash on the blade. So you guys can see that. It is, like I said, AR RPM 9. Comes to a very fine edge, and it does a great job of cutting. I am a big fan of the Schillen blade shape. I don't know why, but it just kind of gives me that kind of tingly feeling, and it's a really good slicer. And the way the handle is shaped fits well in the hand. It's a nice sized blade, and the button works very well. Hardly any blade stick, and it's just very smooth on the steel bearings. They did a really good job with that, the action and everything else. One thing I did find odd is the placement of the pivot. So that screw down here at the bottom of the bolster is where the pivot is. So it's kind of interesting where most knives would have the pivot right in the middle of where the handle is. So we'll look at this in a second, but where the Civivi Elementum, everything's kind of in the middle. Or we'll look at later the Rat, it's in the middle, where this one is off to the bottom. And I think the reason for that is they needed to be able to make sure this handle lines up well with the blade. And because this is so thin of a profile up here, which such a large sized blade, they had to move that pivot down, which also gives you why this area sticks out when it's folded up, which some people might find interesting or anything, but really it's not bothering me design wise with this knife at all. The opening holes are positioned perfectly, and the button is in a really good spot. Yeah, it's really comfortable in the hand. They did put these little cutouts here on the bolster, which is interesting. Like, I don't know if my finger's supposed to go there, but my fingers want to be up higher. And it's just, I don't know. It's a odd, maybe for pinching. It was an odd choice to put those there. I would have just not put them there at all. I mean, it doesn't, they serve no purpose really. But it's an interesting design choice made by CJRB. So what a cool shaped blade. And this thing is much bigger than what I thought it was going to be when I first got it. I was a little put off by it because you guys know I like the smaller stuff. So the blade length, we're right at 3. What is going on with my lighting, man? We're right at 3.5. I have all the lights off in this room, just so we're clear. So we're right at 3.5 inches and a little 8 1/4 overall, listed on the website is 3.5 and 3.25 listed on the website. The weight that they have listed on their website is 4.13 ounces. How about some size comparisons? This versus the Rat 2. You can see this is a substantially larger offering compared to the Rat 2. How about the Civivi Elementum? Again, it's a much larger option for you. And obviously I have to do one more before I do this one. I'll do this one, the Para 3, which I always use. And again, this is coming in much longer than the Para 3. But one thing that when you see this blade shape, at least I did, the first thing I thought of was the Vosteed Nightshade. So that was the first shilling cutter that really got me interested in that blade shape. And when I saw that CJRB was doing something different, I was like, oh, cool. Well, I would have to check that out. And you can see the difference between the Nightshade and the CJRB Sasaya. They are very different as far as the handle shapes are similar, but they're different all at the same way. And the tilt of the blade is a little bit different compared to each of them. They both are shilling cutters, and that's about the end of it. They are two very different designs, but you know, when you're comparing apples to apples, it's kind of, they're different but the same all at the same time, only because they're both that shilling cutter style. So one more time, that versus the Nightshade, and the Nightshade is still one of my favorites in my collection, but I figured I'd pull that out for this one. So overall, what a cool shape. Even if the regular price is $75, AR RPM 9 of a fairly large blade of 3.5 inches and 8.25 overall. It'll fit most of your guys' hands, much larger. You got a button lock that works really well and designed very well from CJRB. So hopefully you guys will like checking out this video. Thank you so much. The CJRB Sasaya. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So thank you again. Please remember, subscribe, like, leave a comment, or not. That choice is always yours.